welcome to my channel Soul GPS, where we take our lives back in our hands after narcissistic abuse. Today, for this topic, what I wanted to talk to you about is something that I've been thinking about for a very long time, and finally it all just kind of came to a halt in my own life because I have been noticing this so much, especially I think maybe because I'm back in Poland for the time being. And my culture is like pervasive when it comes to gossip. It's not the only culture that does that in the world. I'm not saying that it's the worst either, but I think that from my own experience, people are just bathing in this really weird energy, which basically deals with talking about each other, and it almost makes me feel like they have nothing else to do. But it's like they're so concerned with everyone else. And gossip, you see, I believe is definitely a narcissistic tactic. It is something that they do. It is something that they feed on. It is a way for them to raise their own ego while denigrating others. It is a really immature way, in other words, to build up their self-esteem, which isn't really a self-esteem, because self-esteem comes from the self. Right? Self-esteem comes from the self. What they do is something that's more accurately called other esteem, not a term I've coined, but I've heard other psychologists use that, and it's just super accurate because it really lands at home. It is all about other esteem. What these people worry about and are concerned about is how they look to other people, because they do not have the tools, they do not have the ability to go within and work on themselves. Because once you do that, and this is something what recovering victims and targets of narcissistic abuse need to work on, and this is kind of like our path really after this, because this is one of the reasons why we were hurt in the first place, is that our self-esteem wasn't strong enough that we let somebody else come in and do this thing to us. But when you work on yourself, or you follow this path deep within and learn to self-generate praise, self-generate self-championing, self-generate positive thinking, then no matter who you get exposed to when you go out there, people will not have as much influence. They will actually, it will just keep waning and waning and waning until they have absolutely zero influence over you. So it's all going to be about how you feel about yourself and what you think about yourself versus what others think about you. And you will surround yourself with people who think highly of you, the way that you think about yourself. And so you can have people that you think highly of as well and feel good about it and be able to be honest about it, as opposed to spreading flattery, which is, you know, a form of compliment where you do not feel honestly like you really believe in it. So you want to avoid that as much as possible and live a life of truth, because truth is going to give you freedom, and truth is going to lead you to true love, which of course begins with self-love. So gossip, right? So I'm back here, and you know, I'm meeting with people, I'm going to parties, I am just, you know, just watching, listening. I'm out downtown buying my fruits and veggies, and I'm just like, you know, absorbing what's going on. And for the most part, I try to tune things out because there's just so much of this talk. You know, this is kind of like this superiority inferiority disease that's going on. And it's that, you know, if something bad happens to someone, I'm going to feel better about myself. And this is what the narcissist does. This is what a lot of them do. And especially, you know, in friendship so-called circles, you know, if you're in college, I remember there's a lot of that happening when I was younger, because we don't have very well, unless we come from really good, solid families, we don't have very well established filters for others. So we just absorb it all. And we hang out with, you know, whoever seems to be like the most popular person, or, you know, we gravitate oftentimes to people who remind us of our own family. And inevitably, oftentimes it ends in disaster, and then, you know, we end up talking about other people, and other people end up talking about us, and it's just like this huge freaking thing that gets formed. And I just really want to advise you, get out of that as soon as you can, even if it means being by yourself for a while, because if you want to have true friends, if you want to, like you're going to attract the person that you are. And if you value yourself, you're going to attract other people to your life, and you're going to find them, they're going to find you, who value themselves and will value you. Stay away from this whole denigration, putting others down in order to feel better, and so yeah, they have to have big mouths, narcissists, psychopaths, they have this, as they call it in Ireland, gift of gab. They're just so good at talking and weaving all these stories, which oftentimes are complete utter lies made up to make up for the lack of their own self-esteem. They color, they add things, they imagine stuff, and the weirdest thing is they believe in it. They believe in it while they know they're lying. I mean, that's kind of weird, isn't it? But that's what happens. It's called pathological. You believe in something even though you know it's false. I mean, that's sick, right? So that's what they do. They're big mouths. So be really, really, really careful what you share about yourself to other people. And especially if you start dating again, if you start meeting new people and so on, and you do experience this kind of love bombing thing, whether it's someone of your own sex, just a friend, who's just like adores you and just wants to know everything about you. When you notice them talking shit about other people, that should be a huge red flag. Same with people of the opposite sex or the same sex, depending on your own sexual orientation. But if you're dating someone and they're doing that, they're talking shit about their exes, and they're sharing things, know that that's exactly what they're going to do about you. And never, under any circumstances, send them information that is really intimate, or send a picture, God forbid, of yourself naked or whatever, because they are going to use it against you. So don't do that. Even if they do it first, don't do it, because oftentimes that's what they do. This is a form of mirroring. They will start something, and then they're waiting for you to reciprocate, because this is how we're wired. This is how our empathy circuits are wired, is that we repeat what others do. What else do I have here? So yeah, this is how they raise themselves up. They denigrate others. But now I want to talk about something related, a little bit different, and that is them spreading confidential information about you that is secret. So, okay, I understand. I mean, even though I still think it's kind of sick, when you hang out with somebody and you tell them the news about yourself in your car, or something that it might not be necessarily secret, or you change a job or something, like sooner or later stuff's going to come out. It's not super confidential. Still, people, of course, have the need to talk about it and talk about others and da-da-da-da-da. That's like, I don't know, more common form of gossip, I guess. More accepted, maybe not as harmful, but when it gets really harmful is when you start noticing that the things that you have told them, in secret, in confidence, things that were really important to you are being spread, and it is a form of a massive betrayal. I think I do not want to in any way discount this, because I think it's serious and it needs to be talked about. And this is something that happened to me. This is one of the fastest ways in which I've noticed a person who's like really, really close to me, and my family member, actually a couple of family members with whom I'm like limiting contact. One I completely cut off from my life. When I'm starting to hear from other sources that, oh, I heard you this and that. I'm like, what else have you heard? Oh, and this and that. And I'm like, okay, seriously. And I start to actually talk genuinely about the things that I have noticed about this particular person who was spreading these things about me and telling them. And finally, I was able to gauge that the thing went way deeper, that people knew about intricate details about my personal life, my deepest fears, my biggest insecurities, the deals I was trying to do in my business, that were confidential too. Like, stuff was spreading like wildfire, and it came from my home, and I was like, you gotta be freaking kidding me, and it's just like, it's horrible when this happens. And another form of secrecy that is kind of like the flip side of it is that, especially when it comes to relationships with significant others, so-called, like when you're starting to date somebody and that person keeps you a secret. They don't want to say that, to their family or to their friends. They want to introduce you, When something like that happens, know that it's very likely that it's because they're having, they're multi-dating. You're not the only person. They're trying to keep you a secret because there are other people that they're being involved with. And if that happens, get away, raise your boundaries, know that you're worth much more than being with somebody who is like who's not gonna openly introduce you or treat you as in as valuable way as you should be treated, and just get the heck out. So gossip, stay away. Have high self-esteem to not let yourself spend time with those people. If you see them doing this, even though they might make you feel like you are just the best thing ever, and they're going to tell you about them, and they're going to tell you about them, and then that is already a big red flag. If they're talking about other people, know that they're probably doing the same thing about you. Trust your intuition, as I always say, because it's going to tell you when you're having an encounter with this kind of person. And even though, again, if they're making you feel like you're the best thing that ever happened to them, you're the new best friend, you're the newest, bestest lover ever, but they're doing that about other people, even it's a form of isolation to an idealization, it's part of the love bombing stage. But just know that this is the same thing that's going to happen about you, because do they really know you? Most of the time they've just met you. Most of the time it's, and are you guys talking about, solutions? Is it solution oriented, or is it just, talking shit about other people just to raise their own illusory type of self-value? If that is the case, get out, trust your intuition, stay true to your own values, and eventually your tribe will find you, and you'll find your tribe of friends, and true love. So I wish you guys all the best. I'm going to sign off for now, and I'll see you next time. Ciao. Bye-bye.